Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new banning in the Commander format. So, you know what that means. A little bit of my morning breakfast and some of my angry pills. That way, you know, hopefully by the time I go into this article, they'll kick in and I'll be less aggressive in my own state of mind. We'll see. Woohoo, bottoms up, baby. All right, let's do it. All right, September 2021 update from the Commander Rules Committee. There's two things that we're gonna be keeping in mind here. Number one is there is effectively a rules change. It'll make sense when I read it. And there's two cards that were gonna be the forefront of this conversation today. So, as far as the rules are concerned, it says here, Rule 10 is removed. Rule 11 is renumbered as Rule 10. Like I said, we'll get to it. But as far as cards are concerned, we have a unbanning and a ban. What does that tell us? Well, if we look at the data online, the unbanned card has skyrocketed in price, like astronomical. Look at that. Oh, the secondary market doing its thing. So Worldfire is now unbanned and Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, is banned. What? Let me just make a quick adjustment. All right, so what's Worldfire and why is it problematic? Or at least why was it problematic enough to be banned in the format? Worldfire, nice spicy looking card. Exile all permanents, exile all cards from all hands and graveyards. Each player's life total becomes 1. That is an interesting level of spice, and I like it. I don't think that this should have been banned in the first place. But let's go in to the rationale, into the mind of insanity, as it were, so we can kind of figure out, well, why would they ban this and why would they unban this? Let's knock it out. All right, so the whole Rule 10 thing, let's take a jab real quick. Rule 10, which stated that commanders were subject to the legend rule, was created in the days when the legend rule was less stable. The rule remained as an artifact of that time. It's not a commander-specific rule, but simply existed as a clarification. Since it's redundant, we choose to eliminate it. Fair enough. This rule change is administrative only and will have no impact on how games are played. Rule 11 bumps up to Rule 10. Let's see the rationale for unbanning Wildfire, shall we? Wildfire was banned due to problematic interaction with floating mana and having access to your commander. Yeah, everyone gets that one extra card that's right there in the slot. Okay, I get it. We want to foster a commander environment where 8 and 9 mana spells are viable and likely to show up in a game. So we evaluate the expensive ones in that context. Unlike Coalition Victory and Biorhythm, which we continue to believe are problematic in that environment, the level of effort needed to make Worldfire effective is sufficient that we suspect it will not be as much of an issue. See, Worldfire is very on flavor for red. Okay, I mean, you want to throw this bad boy out as a win condition, you're gambling, boy, because I mean, what the hell are you gonna do? I mean, you play this, you wipe the board, you reset the game down to everyone only having 1 life, and the first player to kind of take advantage of everyone having 1 life can essentially become the winner. And the hope is that maybe you can. So it's sorcery speed, costs 9 mana. I mean, this shouldn't, like, I get the whole floating mana thing, but like, this, not problematic. I think more so from the rules committee ethos of, having a fair fight, like something that's enjoyable for everyone. Totally get that mindset. Worldfire was more so like, oh, really? We got to kind of like start over from scratch in a way, except for everyone has 1 life. Great. Well, there goes my graveyard. There goes my recursion that I was planning on. It's more of a hurt feelings card than a bannable card. So the fact that they unbanned it, hey, I'm cool with that because this wasn't a problem in the first place. Play interaction. Yes, scrubs. There are cheaper ways to do similar things in the format. We believe the social construct and robust pre-game discussions will keep Worldfire out of games in which it doesn't belong. Right. So why do you have a ban list if you have rule 0? It should basically be a encouraged restricted list, if anything. You know, outright completely banning cards that, you know, hey, if you're going to play in this format, you're not allowed to play with these cards, period. That's only good for like sanctioned events, and Wizards has yet to find a way to capitalize off of like Grand Prix where it's Commander's the format that you're playing. But even then it would be more of like a CEDH tier, which CEDH and casual Commander, two completely fucking different games. A buddy of mine, he has a Joyra deck. I also have a Joyra deck. Mine is high power casual, where his is holy mother of God, like Jesus, that all came out of fucking nowhere, dude. Different folks, different strokes. People, you know, build the decks that they want to have the most fun with. His Joyra deck is extremely overpowered. It's very spicy, very well put together. It's very cohesive, it's very efficient. And that works for the way that he likes to play. Me, I just want to pump out Rise and Shine and win that way. So my deck is kind of centered around getting Rise and Shine out and making all my artifacts big, boofy creatures and just fucking swinging. Because that's the direction that I choose to take that deck. So this whole social construct thing, the rules committee uses the social construct, or the term of a social contract, which is, you know, the unwritten rules of interacting in society or interacting with a community. It's like, you don't have to go out of your way to say these things, but for some people that just don't get it, you have to be like, well, this is the social contract, right? You don't blow up people's lands. You don't do mass land destruction. Like, that's the thing, Armageddon's perfectly fine. Doesn't see a whole lot of play. I would encourage people to run more land hate. Run land hate. I'm telling you, with lands, with extremely spicy lands like Gaia's Cradle allowed in the format, yeah, you're gonna need to run some land destruction to slow that guy down, or girl, or they, or whatever. You know, like, carry on. I love banned cards. I love them to death. Look, we have Upheaval, right? Upheaval. Return all permanents to their owner's hands. Sorcery Speed, 6 mana. What else is 6 mana that returns a bunch of shit to owner's hands? Non-land permanents? We're talking Cyclonic Rift. I think if you were to put the two up to each other, Cyclonic Rift, Overloaded, is far more problematic than Upheaval. Upheaval is the whole social construct thing of slowing a game down, right? Same reason why the idea of Balance being banned. Balance is a wonderful card that should not be banned at all. Why? Because Balance is extremely fair. Someone wipes the board, someone else gets ahead, and then it goes to your turn, and you're like kind of screwed, and you're like, holy shit, what do? I have Balance. I can play Balance, and if it resolves, each player chooses a number of lands he or she controls equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest. Then sacrifices the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way. Balance, yeah, when it's played and it affects you in a negative way, that sucks, but that's part of the game. When you're behind and you're getting even further behind and you're able to resolve something like Balance, whew, you just put yourself back in, okay? You were far back in the race, and now you're coming right back up, baby. Balance shouldn't be banned, period. Library of Alexandria, need I say, no, no. Tolarian Academy makes perfect sense why that's banned. Oh my God, that Joyra deck would be fucking next level. Nutty. But Library of Alexandria, you can only draw an extra card if you have 7 cards in hand. I mean, it's a very niche thing. Unbanned Library of Alexandria. Rofelos, Land of War Emissary. Dude, that's a Gaia's Cradle type creature, dude. And there was another one that was printed in the Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. Yeah, dope-esque. But this one, 2 mana for a legendary creature. He can be your commander, which is dope. You tap him and you add green to your mana pool for each forest you control. Well, you have an Ashai on the field. Well, you have a shitload of forests, so go ham. But like everything else, he dies to removal. I'm one of those people where it's like, hey man, give me a ban, but have it make sense. Like Channel, for example. Channel, holy shit, dude. What? Yeah, fast spawn. Ooh, you're playing a Lands Matter deck, you got fast spawn, oh, the triggers, baby. Flash, oh, it makes perfect sense why Flash is fucking busted. Paradox Engine, hate to say it, Paradox Engine was holy shit fucked up. I can understand that ban. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't mind playing against it. If someone can do it and have their combo go off, fucking good for them. If I can't respond to it, maybe that's my particular deck doesn't fit with that particular play group. I move the fuck on. Coalition Victory. It's fucking 8 mana. You need Wooburg. You need to have a land of each color. What is it, basic land? You have to have a basic land of each type. And a creature of each color. That's not busted at all. Sorcery speed, if that can resolve, it deserved to resolve. If that is being played and no one has a response to it, they deserve to lose. Coalition Victory should not be banned, period. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on about what card should be banned, what card shouldn't, but we're focused here on Golos Tireless Tracker today. So let's take a look at what this bad boy has to say about it. Golos Tireless Pilgrim. Did I really say Tireless Tracker? Golos Tireless Pilgrim. Mashup of the century. Make it happen, Wizards. It's gonna be okay, Mace. Just keep telling yourself. Keep telling yourself it's gonna be okay. Don't get too woo. Golos Tireless Pilgrim has been a much discussed card that is both popular to play with and unpopular to play against. Popular to play with. Look at the EDH rec stats. Here's the thing, man. Like, the rules committee they're kind of off in their own world. But then you have EDH Recast. They compile data and they're constantly talking about data. They're talking about like the numbers and how things interact and what people are playing with what, and all the information's there. Golos has been top tier #1 commander for God knows how long. So many decks, so many brews. People finding their own little niche with him. It's wonderful. It's great, right? That's all gone away now. It's not like you see, when you ban a card like Hull Breacher, you're banning one card in a deck. When you're banning something like a legendary creature, you're banning effectively every deck that commander is built around. So all of those thousands upon thousands of Golos decks, the vast majority of them, you can't just swap in a different commander because they're not designed to work with anything other than Golos. Now, a lot of them you could. Not saying you can't, not saying it's impossible. Of course you can, but with deck building in mind, it's not an easy thing to just, oh, well, this card's banned, I'll just put this one in that also fits the color identity, and then my deck's fine. No, it just doesn't work that way. And I've played against him. I've beaten Golos decks before. It's not hard. It's called running interaction, you scrubs. Obviously, I'm just being a little tongue-in-cheek here. I love everyone in the community, even the people in the rules committee that kind of, do and or say things or put written words out that might irritate me. I still got a lot of love for them because they care about the game this fucking much. Let me just point that out there so I don't get a ton of hate because, yeah, I'm passionate about this community because I love this community. Moving on. There are many problems with the card, but the greatest is that in the low to middle tiers, where we focus the ban list, Golos is a simply better choice of a leader for all but the most commander-centric decks. Its presence crushes the kind of diversity in commander choice which we want to promote. You can drop a Golos and a few 5-color lands into a random deck and get all the ramp and card advantage you would ever want from a commander with no worries about your mana base. What? Do you have any idea how hard it is to make an effective 5-color deck? When you're trying to fix your mana base, it's not the easiest thing in the world. You want to throw things in there that are going to make your life a little easier, right? But you can't just take a bunch of lands, a bunch of good stuff cards, and then here's my commander, shuffle it, and then there you go. That's not super efficient. What? I mean, I get what it's trying to say, but it's hard to reinterpret it even simpler. I think it's a bit reaching, to be perfectly honest with you. The idea that, oh, you could just throw it together, flap on your commander, and there you go. You got to have some level of mana fixing if you're going to want to have any efficiency come out of him. You know, things like Chromatic Lantern or Channel the Suns is a great one. You know, 4 mana, get Wooburg, and pay the extra 2 with it. There you go. Not a problem. That's great. I mean, that's something that, because something like Channel the Suns is wonderful in 5-color decks because it only costs 4 mana, it nets you 5, but most importantly, it nets you 1 mana of each color. Golos' ability effectively reduces the commander tax to 1. And once you hit 7 mana with Golos, the rest of the game, except casting spells for free, something we always want to be careful about. We've talked to the folks in Studio X, and they understand the problems created by generically powerful 5-color commanders that don't have Wooburg in their mana cost. We don't expect similar cards to come from them in the future, so a strategical strike now makes sense. We understand that many players love Golos, and so we don't take this action lightly. In the end, the health of the format is our primary concern, and we find Golos unhealthy. While Kennereth, the Returned King, is a similarly flexible and popular commander for good stuff 5-color decks, we see it as a clear step down from Golos. Look, I felt this way for a long time about the Rules Committee, and it feels like the Rules Committee and this is without knowing them personally or anything like that, or having any online interaction with them. This is just going off of the articles they post with their rationale, the method to their madness. The Rules Committee very much so come off as casual EDH players that do not like competitive Commander, that do not like CEDH. That's kind of where I'm getting this from. Like my boy Lutri was banned before he even hit store shelves. Why? I mean, even initially when you could just have a commander, have a companion without having to pay the companion tax, as it were, you saw it there. You knew it was coming. But now, not only if I were to make a deck, let's say I had a Golos deck with Lutri as my buddy, right? And I wanted to cast my companion. Well, I got to pay 3 mana just to put my companion in my hand. So I'm down 3 mana, and my opponents now know that Lutri the Spellchaser is in my hand. Also, his effect is an ETB. It's not a cast effect. He has to go from being a companion to paying 3 mana to in my hand, and then when I do want to cast him, I have to cast him for another 3 mana to get him out, and hopefully he resolves, because his ability doesn't hit unless he successfully resolves and hits the battlefield. Lutri, out of every card on the ban list, Lutri is the one that I'll advocate for the most. Golos, it's just the Rules Committee, we wanted things to be more creative, so we'll ban this one card that forces people to be more creative with their deck building. Or the Rules Committee is like, I don't like playing against this deck. I don't like playing against this archetype. How do we solve that? I don't like playing against wheels. All right, well, we can't ban an entire concept, a deck building concept. We can't just ban wheels. You know how many cards that you would have to ban? No. Let's just ban one. The decimation of all of our hurt feelings. And that would be Hull Breacher. that's that was their call to that. I'm not even gonna go on the whole breacher conversation there. It just makes me sad at the end of the day, you know? But at the same time, it actually makes me very happy. So I have a very, very special place in my heart for banned cards. I love cards that are banned. It's like, oh, these cards will never have a home. It's like, well, thanks to Rule 0, they'll have a home with me because, you know, with the play groups and stuff I have, I'm cool with proxies because Magic's an expensive game and I don't want to gatekeep people from playing a fun, enjoyable game because they can't afford, you know, certain cards, or the cards that they could afford, their power levels are just so low. Yeah, go ahead, throw 4 or 5, you know, proxies in that, you know, help elevate your deck, do some play testing, and if you really enjoy it, hey, maybe you'll actually buy the cards. I'm fine with proxying, but that's a conversation for another day. But bans, man. Banned cards that have no homes, very good place with me. When they banned Hull Breacher, I started brewing a deck using banned cards. And the commander I chose was Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, who wasn't banned at the time. And then today, I find out that he's banned. So while part of me is sad that I'm probably not going to be playing against a Golos deck anytime soon, because I like to see other people go off. Don't get me wrong, I like to win just as much as the next guy. But if I lose, a lot of times when I lose, I don't just bounce off the table. It's like, well, I lost. Well, who am I rooting for now? Let's see what else happens. You know, I'm interested in the progression of the game. You know, I don't get hurt feelings for losing. It's part of playing the game. It's called sportsmanship. Which there's a lot of toxic EDH players, a lot of toxic casual EDH players. There's just a lot of toxic people in the Magic the Gathering community. Fuck those people, you know? Like, it's just a game, have fun, you know? Whatever happens at the table stays at the table. You know, get yourself with a good play group, shoot some shit, sling some cardboard, have a good time. But I am really happy now. Because this means that, fuck dude, it's literally a banned deck, and I'm super excited to actually work on it. Obviously, I have to wait for all the pieces, you know. I don't have every single banned card, which I wish I did. Let's see, I'll go into that another time. If you like content like this, please leave it down below on what other stuff I should talk about next as far as Magic the Gathering goes. You can follow me on TikTok. I do a lot of Magic the Gathering content there. I actually just finished up a giveaway and I'm ready to go on my next one. So check out my TikTok and you know, be a part of it. So I just finished up one giveaway on my TikTok and I'm gearing up for another one. So go ahead and, you know, hit that follow button on there and, you know, be in the loop. And also we can carry the conversation there as well. Yeah, I disagree with the rules committee on this one. At the end of the day, ultimately, I'm glad that they unbanned Worldfire, but it really sucks that they banned Golos. It's going to be interesting seeing on EDH Rack kind of who's going to take the next #1 spot. Comment down below who you think it's going to be. As always, I'm your oh so glorious and beloved Mace Valor, signing off.